Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your visions out of life and boring news. Folks, it's our job to give you some interesting bits in world sports, entertainment, odd news, and whatever else we happen to stumble across here in good old Philadelphia. I'm Rich Liebig.
And I'm Michael Costanzo.
And, we've got some topics prepared for you in the world of sports, entertainment, and odd news. But before we get to all of that at hand, Mikey, my friend, how are you doing? What is happening in Costanzo country?
Doing pretty good. I was very, very busy this past weekend, several days. We had a cousin's wedding reception. We went to a live recording of a podcast in Center City, Pod Save America. Fantastic podcast. I've just been staying busy. It just seems like going from one event to the next. But I have also been catching up on Baby Reindeer as well. I've been finding time. I was trying to remember the show. I was like, what's that show that I'm watching? So I've had an opportunity to start catching up on that. I'm only a couple episodes in, but I am really digging it. It's so creepy, but in such a, it's not like a scary creepy way. It's just like a very unsettling, like unnerving kind of creepy. And I love it. It's fantastic.
I mean, it got all the awards at the Emmys, so I watched it the week after.
Yeah.
I came on the podcast and said, you got to watch it, and now Mikey is following suit.
Absolutely, yeah. I wanted to see that one. I'm catching up on that one. I've heard good things about Hacks as well, but I have not had a chance to dive into that yet. So I still have a lot of TV on my plate to catch up with.
Okay.
But I'm working through it.
All right, so there you go. Mikey is running around and watching Baby Reindeer.
Trying to. But what have you been up to?
All right, bear with me here.
Okay.
So I, it was a new month. So one of the things I do each month is I try to remember to see what are the free games on the PlayStation Plus area of the PlayStation Store.
Right.
Because if you have PlayStation Plus, you get a couple of free games every month.
Absolutely.
And I saw one of them was a WWE game. I was like, all right, that sounds cool. One of them was the Dead Space remake. I was like, all right, cool. And then the third one, it looked like this weird anime thing called Doki Literature Club.
Oh, yeah. I've not tried it.
Yeah. I was like,
have you?
I was like, what the hell? All right, whatever. And then I go to a party this weekend.
Okay.
And someone else who I'm hanging out with, who is a gamer, he comes up to me and he goes, Rich, have you heard about this Doki Literature Club? And I'm like, wait, why does it sound familiar? Are you talking about the weird anime club that's free? That's the free game of the month this month? And he goes, yeah, you gotta play it. I was like, what?
This was not on my radar at all. What?
No. So I'm like, wow. All right, for this friend of mine to come out of the nowhere and say I have to play this.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, interesting. So I downloaded Doki Literature Club.
Okay.
And I played it.
Okay. And
it's an experience.
Okay. Is it a good experience?
It's an interesting experience.
Oh boy. All right. So I have to try this now.
Yes. This is basically my whole premise is now I'm spreading the disease to you.
Oh God. You're describing it like a disease. That doesn't sound very positive.
Now you may enjoy.
I've caught the Doki Literature Club.
Yep, and all of you are witnesses.
Because when you pitch something like that, I gotta try it.
Yes, and I'm not even going to. I don't. The worst part is that this is one of those forms of art that I can't explain more details because the more I explain the details, the more it's going to ruin.
I'm gonna go on the PlayStation app right now.
Yeah, download it
and set it to download.
Right, but I don't want you to find out any more information.
Okay, I'm just gonna go to it on the PlayStation Store.
Yes,
and just set it to download.
Yes,
and then tomorrow, I'm gonna experience it.
Yes.
All right.
And that's it. I don't want to even give you any more information because
I'm honestly terrified.
Good. That's exactly the feeling.
You're like, you should be.
Yes.
Doki. Oh my God, Rich. The thumbnail alone.
Yes.
What? PlayStation's gonna think I'm perverted.
They're the ones perverted. They offered it for the free game of the month. They offered this.
Oh my God. I can't. All right. I'm downloading it.
Yes. So
I'm downloading it right now.
Yes. And then when you get a chance, play that game.
Oh my god, it's rated M. The thumbnail is just like a bunch of like anime schoolgirls.
Have fun.
I don't know what that has to do with literature. Okay.
Have fun.
I'm going to play that tomorrow. I'm so worried.
Yep. And if you finish it, then we can have a full-blown spoiler conversation about it.
We can review it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic.
And the only reason...
hold on, let me get this straight. Did you play it all or you finished it?
Yes. It's a relatively short game.
Okay. So you went all in. You didn't just like, oh, I'll download it and, it'll just sit on your console or...
The way my friend came up to me out of the blue and said, you have to play this game, I was like, wow. And it's free this month. I'm like, all right, I guess I have no excuse.
If it's free, you might as well. But the fact that you sat down and finished the whole thing, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'm gonna try and finish it by the next podcast.
Yes. It's not that long. It's not that long of a game.
I cannot describe to you how worried I am.
Perfect. That's the exact level I want you to enter Doki Doki Literature Club.
Okay. All right.
Good luck.
All right. Thank you. I feel like
all of you are witnesses.
Like I'm going to need it.
All of you are witnesses now. The disease has now been passed to Mike.
I did not even clock this game at all. Like when I saw the announcement for the games, I was like, wrestling. I'm not into a Dead Space. I'm too scared to do that. And I was like, Doki Doki. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I just went right past all of them.
Yep. Well,
now I got to reconsider all my life's choices. Apparently,
look, I would not have given this the light of day if my friend hadn't pulled me aside this weekend and said you have to try it.
That you make a good point. Sometimes somebody just the way that they approach you so earnestly about something and so mysteriously, you're like, that's because the way you described it, it's the same scenario. Like you're like, you gotta like just trust me. It's weird. You gotta try it. And I'm like, okay.
Yep. Good.
All right.
And I've now passed the disease to Mike.
I've caught the Doki Doki disease.
Perfect.
The D3. Right.
Yes, the mission has been successful. All right. So on that note, oh my God, I totally just
it hit him again.
For a brief second, I had a reprieve.
You've been struggling tonight. Well, let's talk about it in our first segment of the show. It's time for the Sports Sampler.
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life.
Sports. In your face. Ha ha!
That's right. I got to remember that
the
quote.
We do joke that this podcast is kind of like therapy.
I do got to remember our beginning sound effect. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much betrayal I can take here because the Philadelphia Phillies, after having one of the best first halves to a season, just fell apart and got knocked out in the divisional round of the playoffs, losing to the damn New York Mets.
Yeah.
This stupid team with a freaking baseball head as a mascot and Grimace. I can't stand this Grimace. Oh, my God. And they are really rallying around this Grimace. This is going to be the thing, folks.
Are you just upset that we don't have our own Grimace?
I'm upset that the Mets are going to use this possibly for a World Series run, and somehow McDonald's is going to profit billions of dollars because they need another freaking $billion of profit.
Bring back the third pounder. That's all I'm going to say with the $1 billion. Bring back the third pounder.
But yes, unfortunately, the Philadelphia Phillies bats went completely cold.
Yeah.
And the Mets won this series in 4 games.
Yikes.
Embarrassing.
That's sad. I mean, we didn't get swept, but it sure doesn't feel that way.
It didn't feel like it. This whole series, the Phillies just came out cold. They just couldn't find ways to score. They left men on base. And that's just it. This team is built on slugging. You have all these big hitters, and then they just go cold in October. It's just I don't know what you can do.
Isn't that kind of the always been the Phillies curse? Like we've always been like a big bats kind of team, and it gets. I mean, hitting is very streaky. Like you need to be really well balanced to weather those cold snaps, right?
Yep, and they just couldn't handle it this year as well, falling apart at the worst time.
We peaked too early. You were saying before the show that we started, what was it, 40-18?
Yeah. That was the high point of the season.
Winning 70% of our games. But when you do the math, that means we finished the year about 50-50.
Yeah.
Perfectly 500. So, when you peak in June, baseball is an incredibly long season.
Yep.
I'd rather them start 50-50.
Yeah.
And then finish 40-18.
Yep, which is or start 30 and
or whatever,
30 and 40, and then go on the hot streak, which is what the Mets have been doing.
Yeah.
And this one hurts. But I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. This is one of those cases I'm just flabbergasted. It's like when you look back in Philadelphia history and you see great teams and you realize they just didn't win a championship, and you're just like, what went wrong? And
do you think this could have been one of those teams this year? I mean, we were the second or third best team?
This whole era that we are in, where we've had Harper and Schwarber and Castellanos, like, it feels like this is a team that should have been able to pull off a World Series.
Yeah.
And we're just going down
Well,
the third season being eliminated. It's just painful.
It's really frustrating because I'm going back through the past couple years of records, and going back to the mid 20 teens. It's 5th, 4th, 5th, and then slowly but steadily we've been climbing back up to the top of the division. But you're right, nothing is coming of it.
Yeah. And I'm actually a little bit worried for Bryce Harper's legacy. He might go down without a World Series. He's been this big figurehead, this big slam hitter, for the past decade or so, but he might not have a ring to show for it, because the year he leaves Washington wins the World Series. Go figure.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just seems like we're missing an opportunity here. This should be a window to make it to win a pennant, to win the World Series.
How long does the window stay open? Because we've been looking through it for about 3 years now, but where are we at in the process of the window closing on us?
Yeah,
is it still fully propped open, or
I think it's
still
open,
another year or two?
I think it's still open, but we're gonna have to watch the off season, because this team still needs improvement. They don't make it in October. They don't make it in September and October when you need them to make it.
Is this a batting issue, a fielding, pitching? Is this coaching?
It might be coaching. I really hate to say this, because I like Philly Rob.
Everything else is kind of working, right?
Yeah. I really like Philly Rob. I like his demeanor, but I don't know. I feel like sometimes the lineup isn't correct. Some of the pitching decisions are a little askew. And it just seems like sometimes this team needs to play small ball and just get people around the bases and get an ugly run. Sometimes you just need a couple of just singles, boom, 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 and get a run to come in, just so you get some momentum going.
Just to get momentum. Yeah, you can't discredit momentum in a game like baseball.
And instead, these guys constantly just swing for the fences, and they're out. And the other team's pitcher gets 6 pitches in.
I hate to always bring it back to football, but when you said sometimes they just need to play small ball, it resonated so deeply with me about how the Eagles run their team as well. Why do Philly sports? This is a larger Philly sports thing. Yeah. Why is it boom or bust? You either have a 60-yard touchdown or a 3-run home run, or the Sixers put up 140, or you just come out and you're like, okay, we're not going to play today.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that something within us?
Why is Philly so boom or bust with their sports? Why can't we just play smart, consistent, not safe, but take what the defense is giving you kind of mentality?
Yeah. Also, on a weird correlation, I feel like there is a correlation now between the Eagles and the Phillies, because we had the year where the Eagles went to the Super Bowl and lost.
Yep.
Then the Phillies went to the World Series and lost.
Yep.
Now, we've had last year the Eagles having a great first half, going 10-1, and then they collapse at the end and get knocked out in the first round. This year, the Phillies have an incredible first half of the season, then do horribly in the second half, and then get knocked out in their first round.
Do we start looking at Eagles seasons for a prediction on what's going to happen in the Phillies season.
Right? I feel like we might have to.
Like we got to keep a close eye on the Eagles year this year, and then we'll know how the Phillies end up.
Right.
That's what 2025.
Right.
Then.
That's your projection to the 2025 Phillies.
I mean, yeah. For the past couple of years, it's kind of been tracking, right?
Yeah. So we're also recording this literally right after the Phillies just lost.
The wound is very fresh for Rich. He was distraught for a long while now before recording.
This one definitely stings because they just had so much potential.
Yeah,
the beginning of this season.
I mean, I remember us talking about it, how incredible it was, how just dynamic the team was, and they're doing it, and we're even down players, and they were just finding ways to win. And then somewhere along the way, they stopped finding ways to win, and we talked about how
bats went cold.
Well, we talked about at the beginning of the season how it was the easy part of their schedule, that we hadn't come up across that adversity. And I think it really does come down to coaching because, how a team handles adversity and how they come back from being cold or losing momentum, that's coaching. I don't think that's just talent, right? That's how you manage a team. That's how you inspire a team. That's how you draw up, if it's football or whatever, how you draw up a play or, a new scheme to combat whatever you're dealing with. So I think talent-wise, we have all the talent.
Yeah, but it's just seems like it's not paying off, and I feel like this is a missed opportunity in this run that the Phillies aren't making deeper runs into the postseason. It's a shame.
But to quote an age-old Philly saying, there's always next year.
Yep, but man, I don't know. Bryce Harper, he might be a little bit worried. He's starting to get to the.
How old is he?
I think in his mid 30s. I think
Ooh.
early 30s, maybe early 30s.
Early 30s is a lot different than mid 30s in sports.
Can you do a quick Google? I
Yeah.
forget off the top of my head, but it just seems like this is just the window of opportunity.
Oh, he's got time. He's only 31.
31. Okay.
He's got, if we can keep him around, he's got a solid maybe 5 more years.
Yeah.
Before he really starts to slump,
Well, I mean, it depends if he has any injuries and stuff. I mean, sometimes he always seems to get an injury too in the middle of the season as well.
It's a long season.
So, I don't know. I'm just I'm bummed out. This one hurt. This one definitely.
I know.
It had to be the Mets too.
I know.
Freaking Mets.
I know.
Oh, your mascot has a baseball for a head. Wow. How original.
You're a walking, talking baseball.
All right. Anyway.
At least the Fanatic really is.
Yeah, is
a world class. Isn't he regarded as one of the most iconic mascots of all time?
Yes.
I think I saw that on a list somewhere.
Yeah, not baseball head.
Yeah, stupid baseball head.
All right. Well, you know what?
You got to have a story to cheer you up.
For all the fans, usually it seems to work out this way in New York. If you're a fan of the Mets, you're a fan of the Jets. If you're a fan of the Yankees, you're a fan of the Giants. That's usually kind of how the split goes.
Yeah.
So guess what? If you're a fan of the Mets and you're enjoying all this, well, guess what? Screw you, because the Jets are in dysfunction. Let's get to the Jets. This story rocked the NFL. I mean, this is causing everyone's doing a double take at this story that the Jets, 5 games into the season, have decided to fire Robert Saleh, and they've made him. He's like Saddam Saleh because Woody Johnson forced him to have get a security escort to get him out of the building after he was told he was fired.
I don't think was he actually allowed into the building?
He was allowed in, and then security escorted him out.
He wasn't allowed to speak to the team.
Nope. he's Saddam Saleh at this rate.
Apparently, yeah. This took the NFL world by storm. Everybody very shocked because he was part of a big culture shift with the Jets. I think the view from the outside is that he brought a certain positivity. He turned that defense around.
Yeah.
He was one of the more stable coaches they've had in the past, 2 decades almost, right?
Yeah.
So, a slow start certainly, but is it a fireable offense or the conspiracies online are flying around? Is this an Aaron Rodgers hit? Because there's been reports that Rodgers didn't necessarily get along with Saleh.
Well, Aaron Rodgers went on Pat McAfee today, and he definitely denied all those claims. He said he got along with Saleh, and he said one of his kids was his throwing buddy.
Okay.
So he gave this impassioned speech that it was not his fault on the Pat McAfee show.
So why fire him then? I mean, I know 2-3. I know you're the Jets. You've been struggling. But how do you expect to improve with, I think you sent me the stat, what was it, 6 starting quarterbacks?
Yeah.
In, 4 years, 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah. And half of them were
Zach Wilson's. So, what do you expect, right?
Yeah, here's the thing I don't understand. Like,
also, in a division with the Patriots, Bills, and Dolphins, that's a tough division. You were always going to ride in the basement.
Yeah, and here's something I don't understand is Robert Saleh, he comes in as a defensive coordinator.
Right.
He's a defensive mastermind.
Right.
He was living up to his angle, to his side of the bargain.
The Jets' defense has been stellar the past couple years.
Yeah.
Always in the top 5, top 10.
So why is Woody Johnson, the owner, making him the scapegoat? I don't I mean, I know to a degree that everything falls under the head coach.
Right.
But he is living up to his side of the bargain. Not like Nick Sirianni and his offensive schemes, which we're going to get into that in just a minute.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think Woody Johnson is just like I think he was high on his own supply.
I think you floated the conspiracy to me that it's because they lost in London.
And yeah, there's this conspiracy going around that Woody Johnson, who was the U.S. ambassador to the United Kingdom under Trump for some reason.
Because isn't the best person to represent your nation's interests the owner of a football team?
Yeah. They played their last game in London and they got humiliated in that game. Aaron Rodgers threw 3 interceptions, including a pick 6. And yeah, there is a conspiracy theory that Woody Johnson felt embarrassed in what he calls his second home in London. I mean, but still, to make Robert Saleh out to be the boogeyman,
I don't know. I also saw. I don't know why there's so many weird theories surrounding this firing. It just goes to show you that it doesn't. People don't think it makes sense to find the fact that they're finding all these conspiracy theories to explain it. One was that Saleh was going to demote or fire offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett,
who's Aaron Rodgers' BFF,
and that he was going to demote the gameplay responsibilities and play calling, and then he made that decision Tuesday morning, and 5 minutes later was when he was called into the office and fired. So I mean, I don't know. Like, is there any validity to these theories about Aaron Rodgers or the embarrassment in London or the demotion of Aaron Rodgers' buddy offensive coordinator? Like, or is this just the Jets being the Jets?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Do they just like?
At the
is it too weird?
At the end of the day, this is just the Jets being the Jets.
Can it be that simple?
They are a dysfunctional organization.
I've heard the term poverty franchise,
especially with Woody Johnson as the owner. Yeah. He's been one of the worst owners to play for in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
It just makes sense that a dysfunctional franchise would make a dysfunctional move and get rid of a head coach at a dysfunctional time 5 weeks into the season.
I'm also seeing here that Johnson consulted with general manager Joe Douglas on the decision. And I wonder if part of this is scapegoating and trying to, cover up the fact that they still have not signed their star defensive end, Hassan Reddick. Like,
at this rate,
this franchise is so dysfunctional.
At this rate, yeah. Why should Hassan Reddick even bother?
No, I wouldn't come back. I just take the rest of the year off.
Yeah, stay out the rest of the season. Be a free agent. Enjoy.
I'm still in support of the wild theory that the Eagles should trade back for Hassan Reddick, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
But
all right,
it's just a bad team.
It is, but there is a ramification to this, and that's important to Philadelphia here.
Yeah,
and that is the fact that if Robert Saleh, who is a defensive-minded coach, who actually had a decent defensive squad.
He was doing his job as advertised.
And he can get fired in week 5 of the NFL season.
Yeah.
And then you come to Philadelphia, and you have Nick Sirianni, who's supposed to be an offensive genius, and the current offense in Philadelphia is struggling to put points on the board in the first half of 4 games. Do you think that Nick Sirianni could be fired?
I think that anything is possible at this rate. I mean, every once in a while something shakes the NFL where you're like, this is going to be one of those pivot points inflection points where things are never quite the same, right? I reflect back to when the Steelers decided to start Ben Roethlisberger as a rookie, and from that point on, it was like every rookie quarterback must start immediately. You think back to the fully guaranteed contracts of Kirk Cousins. You're like, all right, quarterback contracts are forever changed. Firing a head coach 5 games in, I don't know that I've ever seen anything like that before. Right?
Other than for like really egregious offenses like,
but you gotta, like
Urban Meyer.
Yeah, right. Like off the field issues or like goose egg type issues, but they were 2-3 in a tough, tight division. You know? So I think that kind of kicks down the door where people might start thinking like, you know what? The NFL stands for not for long. Why stick with a coach if we're not fully satisfied? There's 100 guys out there vying for these jobs. You could have your choice of any of them, right?
All right. Well, guess what?
What?
I am full blown. You wanted to see it, Mike.
Are you calling for Nick Sirianni's head right now?
I am full blown hitting the panic button for Nick Sirianni. If Nick Sirianni comes out in this game against the Browns,
we'll get to it in a moment.
Who is one of they're one of the most underperforming teams this season. If he comes out to the Browns
off of a bye week
with one of the 2 receivers back in action, they really should be back to 100%.
They've said that A.J. Brown will be back and Devontae Smith will likely clear concussion protocols, yes. And Lane Johnson as well.
If he comes back with a full 100% offense and they can't score points, they can't run up the score on this pitiful Browns team, I think he's done.
Yeah, I got to be clear for everybody. Rich isn't talking about like winning by like 7 or 8 points, right? Like you got to go multiple touchdowns win again. The Browns are
at least 2 possessions.
The Browns are 1-4. They have Deshaun Watson. I don't think I've seen a quarterback worse than him in quite some time.
About a quarterback that's stuck, literally just everybody's stuck on the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, they're terrible. Terrible, terrible team. They need to come out off of a bye, full strength, and really show that they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because this will be 1 1/3 seasons of complete dysfunction on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
If they come out and they just kind of like weeble their way.
Score something in the first quarter, for the love of God.
Yeah, let's try that. Let's cap off the opening drive with a touchdown.
Something. The Eagles remain the only team to not score in the first quarter. This is embarrassing for somebody who's supposed to be the offensive genius.
Yeah. I would argue he's not even the offensive genius anymore because now he has that they say he's like a head coach CEO, a CEO style head coach where he's there for inspiration and you know big picture things. And so what does he do then?
What would you say you do here?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to sound like another WIP caller, but like what does he do here? You know?
Collects a paycheck. They got to come out of the gates. And we need to see some fireworks. I swear. If this is another first half where we see stalled drives, questionable play calls, turnovers, I swear to that's the end. We cannot stand this anymore.
If this team
and coming off of this unprecedented move, where now apparently you can get rid of a head coach 5 or 6 weeks into the season.
There were reports after the hiring of Kellen Moore, that the reason they went with Kellen Moore, somebody who was getting looked at as a potential head coach candidate, is that he could be a stopgap measure if Sirianni were to be fired during the season.
Make him the interim head coach. Prop him up. Give him a shot.
And I saw that theory, and remember last year, I was not very high on Nick Sirianni by the end of the year. I was like, you know what? That makes pretty good goddamn sense.
Well, here you go. Pull the ripcord if that happens.
If they don't handily beat the Browns, Nick Sirianni's seat is going to be scorching hot, if not already completely on fire.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Since we're predicting the future, should we just jump right into Fantastic Four picks?
Let's do it.
All right. There you go. The music is active. What are we predicting on for our 4 games for week number 6 of the NFL season?
All right, well, first up, we have your very own pick. You requested this one. The LA Chargers are traveling to Denver to face off against their rival. This is Sunday, 4 o'clock. Rich, you think there's some betting action here possible with this game?
Oh, yeah. I am making the Chargers my bet of the week. Get the Bolts going. In this matchup, you have the Broncos still kind of they've been doing decently with their defense, but I still don't like a rookie quarterback going up against Jim Harbaugh. That sounds like a mismatch if I've ever heard one. The Chargers are getting healthier as well, and Justin Herbert should be 100% for this game. Also, this is essentially a must-win game for the Chargers. If they lose this game, they fall to 2-4 in a division where the Chiefs are running away already at 5-0 and going into a bye week. That is if the Chargers want to have any postseason hope, that doesn't bode well. And I expect Jim Harbaugh to be thinking that the postseason is a realistic goal this season, especially with the talent they have on this team. So I think the Chargers are going to win this game, and I think the point spread at just -3. I think that's a reasonable ask for this Chargers team that can light it up, especially with a healthy Justin Herbert coming into this game. I like the Chargers. Take them. I take the points even at -3. I think it's worth the risk.
Yeah, I think that the Chargers, they came across a couple of really tough teams in Kansas City and Pittsburgh. They gave them both a run for their money, though.
Yeah.
So against the Chiefs, they're only losing by a touchdown, right?
Yeah.
So they have the talent. They have the coaching pedigree. Like you said, to stay alive in that division, they have to keep pace. If they lose here, they fall further and further behind. So I'm in agreement. I do like the Chargers more than Denver. I also just hate Denver's head coach, Sean Payton.
Yeah,
I really
I know
do.
You would like that.
I don't like the way that him and Bo Nix don't seem to get along. It's just a bad vibe, a bad mojo in Denver. So I'm going with the Chargers as well. Next up, we have two high-powered offenses. The Detroit Lions are traveling to Dallas to face off against the Cowboys, who are celebrating a recent win. Rich, who do you like in this matchup?
I love the Lions. Give me the Lions. I'm sorry. The Cowboys, even when they pull out a win, they still just don't look. This season, they don't look good. I'm sorry. They don't pass the eye test in 5 games so far. And the 2 games that they won. The one game that they won against the Browns, that shouldn't even count. That was just so lucky that they drew them right off the bat.
Yeah.
The win against the Giants, they looked so inept. They barely were able to win that one. And then they got lucky on this crazy midnight game with the Steelers. Steelers probably fell asleep because the game went till 1 or 2 in the morning. Did you know that? Did you know about that?
No, I didn't know.
There was a severe thunderstorm that moved through the area.
Oh, it was delayed?
And it was delayed until they didn't finish till 1 or 2 in the morning. It was crazy.
That sounds terrible.
So even though the Cowboys have 3 wins, they're not that good. And their defense is still allowing too many rushing yards. I'm all for the Lions. I want the Lions to come in and just punch the Cowboys in this game. I'm going Lions.
Yeah, no, I agree. We've been down on the Cowboys the entire year, not just because they're the Cowboys, but because they do show serious gaps in their gameplay. You called out, the lack of a good rushing defense. What about a lack of a good rushing offense? 31st in the league right now. They can't get anything going with a crippled Ezekiel Elliott.
He's not going to be the starter.
No.
I'm telling you that right now. He's done.
No. Yeah, I can't imagine. But the Lions are just, I also think, a more balanced team overall, just on paper, statistically. So I like the Lions. They had a really great year last year. They're still feeling that energy. I think they're going to continue it well into this season, so I'm going with the Lions.
All right.
Next up, we have 2 underperforming AFC East teams. This is a division that is just struggling to stay above water. We have the Buffalo Bills traveling to the New York Jets, of course, just firing their head coach, Robert Saleh. Do the Jets get a boost a post-coach firing boost? Because it does seem to be a weird thing that happens. Do you think they could steal one here from the Bills?
Yeah, this is a phenomenon that actually is documented, that a team kind of wakes up after a head coach gets fired. So a lot of people are actually putting money on the Jets on Monday night. I'm not confident, though. Aaron Rodgers still looks to me like a 41-year-old dinosaur quarterback.
Yeah.
I think his time has passed. He even has weapons, and he still just doesn't look like he's leading an efficient offense down the field this season. Whereas the Bills, at least they got Josh Allen. You know, he can at least scramble. He can do things to keep the chains moving. And that defense is still going to be competent enough to try and stop the Jets' offense. I just don't know where the Jets are even going to be mentally after losing Robert Saleh. So I'm going to say, if you have to go a direction in this game, I say Bills. But in terms of your money, I would stay off of this game.
Yeah. I think context is important. And I think when people talk about like the post-coach firing boost, it's usually a coach who's terrible, who's disliked, who's been dragging a team down. I don't get the perception that's what Saleh was with the New York Jets. I think that they just made a bad decision here, a rash decision, 5 games in. And I've been a big Bills supporter in general the past couple years. I think that they're a more well-rounded team. I know the offense has a few gaps there, but that defense is still pretty good. Josh Allen, you can't discredit him. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers has been very hot and cold, more cold. So I'm going to go with the Bills, take the cautious pick here. But this division's just a weird division. I wouldn't be surprised if something weird happens.
This division is weird.
It is.
Dolphins have lost Tua. We don't know what's going to happen
there. I literally
there.
don't know who to point to in this division and go, yeah, that's the team.
Yeah.
Like, Buffalo is leading the division, but, like, do you trust them? Maybe in this game, but fully? And New York is technically second in the division. Like, this is why the Robert Saleh firing doesn't make sense. So I honestly, I don't know how this game is going to pan out. I'm taking the safe pick with the Bills, but I could see this going either way. Yeah. Honestly, it's just too weird. But speaking of weird games, how about our very own hometown Philadelphia Eagles, the Cleveland Browns, traveling to Philadelphia to face off against the Birds. It's a Sunday 1 o'clock game. Rich, does Nick Sirianni get fired?
He does if the Eagles barely show up in this game. And
do they show up?
They have to. They have.
If they don't, that is criminally bad.
Right, and that's potentially fire territory for Sirianni. So if Nick Sirianni, if the Eagles players want Nick Sirianni to retain his job, they are going to show up on Sunday and win this game. And if they do not want him to keep the job, well, then they'll come out flat and the Browns will take advantage. But this is a game that the Eagles should handily have and should easily have a win in Philadelphia. But I swear, if this is like we've seen the last couple of games, Nick Sirianni's done. I can't. You got to consider pulling the eject cord on him.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about a few moments ago, we're coming back full strength or close to it, coming off of a bye. Nick Sirianni's got to be feeling that heat. Like, everything is lining up for this game to be a real, just punch the other team in the mouth and say, hey, we still deserve to hang around. The Browns have lost to some bad teams. They lost to the Giants. They lost to the Raiders. Like, this is a team we should come out and be like, boom, like double-digit win easily. If this team can lose by 17 to Tampa Bay, we should be able to win against the Browns in a similar fashion to really prove that we deserve to hang in there with the other teams. If we don't, you're right. Nick Sirianni might not be long for this team.
Yeah.
For Nick Sirianni's sake, this is a must-win.
Exactly. And those are our Fantastic Four picks for week number 6 of the NFL season. All right. And how about we just settle down a little bit? I'll settle down. Mike might be more pissed off at this story.
Okay.
That is the fact that we're hearing rumors that Roger Goodell is considering that the current NFL kickoff system is a kind of a work in progress, and that a rumor is that in this offseason, the competition committee, I had the words backwards.
The committee.
Right, committee. No, the competition committee wants to review moving the kickoff touchback from the 30 to now the 35-yard line, because a lot of these defensive-minded coaches, Mike Tomlin, just says to the kicker, kick it out of bounds. I don't give a hoot. So, Mike, what do you say to that? That it's getting so bad that they're going to move it to that they're considering moving to the 35.
So, I mean, this is the issue, is that I'm pissed at these coaches that refuse to engage in the rule. Like, it really pisses me off, because you're just gifting these other teams sometimes 10, 15 yards by not playing with the new rules strategically. I witnessed a handful of times, at least so far this season, where teams have kicked it short of the goal line, forcing the opposing team to return it. And do you know what I've noticed every time? They get them down at the 15, at the 20-yard line. You kick a touchback, you're just giving it to them at the 30. Like, you're sacrificing. Like, show a little bit of trust in your special teams. I think, honestly, teams have completely disregarded special teams the past couple years.
Yes.
And I think that's the reason they realize, like, oh, we literally have scrubs off the street playing special teams. But if you actually take the time to invest in it, like, remember back in the day, Brian Westbrook, Deshaun Jackson, Darren Sproles returning punts. Like,
Darren Sproles, he was a menace.
And remember kickoff returns too, Devin Hester. Like, it used to be a thing. It used to be an exciting part of the game that you could not ignore. One year, going back to the Chargers, they were the top offense, the top defense, worst special teams, and that was costing them games. You should be forced to focus on all aspects of the game. You can't just completely write off a third of the game. Like, that is insanity to me. And for these coaches to be like, give them 10, 15 yards. Like, can you, doesn't that frustrate you? The fact that coaches are like, we'll give them 30, the 35, the 40. Just kick it out of bounds then at that rate. You know? Like, it just annoys me that they refuse to engage with it strategically, because either they've neglected it or they can't wrap their stupid little minds around how it could benefit them. So I say, move it. I say penalize these teams that don't want to engage with the rules. Like, if you're going to sit back and not even attempt to engage with it, then, that should be a consequence. The touchback should be moved up. It's frustrating as a fan to just see teams get more than a third of the field with a touchback.
For free, yeah.
But how about on the flip side? How about other special teams coaches actually try to do their job?
Yeah, well, I mean, I got to say this, though. For Mike Tomlin, it's working. The Steelers have a, 4-1 record?
I guess,
It's working right now. I mean, I maybe they do have a point. If you have a really strong defense, who cares for another 5 or 10 yards?
I guess. But 31 other teams don't have the Steelers' defense right now.
Well, those are the ones that have to play by the rules.
Yeah.
The Steelers get a free cheat code, apparently.
Apparently. I don't think that's going to last, though. I don't know how real the Steelers are. I don't fully trust.
We're gonna find out the back half of that season.
Mike Tomlin is the modern-day Jeff Fisher. Prove me wrong.
If he finishes 9-8, you're right.
I mean...
And he might, because the back half of that Steelers schedule is brutal.
It's tough. It's a tough division. Browns notwithstanding, it's a tough division.
They have to play I don't know if people know this. The Steelers have to play 3 games in 10 days.
That's a lot of games.
They pissed off the scheduler. I don't know what they did.
I don't know what they did.
Maybe Mike Tomlin pissed off the scheduler as well as the special teams.
Mike Tomlin's also just kind of a jerk, like up there with Sean Payton. Like, he tripped a guy once. Remember that?
Yeah, he did.
Like, also, I think any rule that negatively impacts the Steelers is a good rule in my book. Come at me, Pittsburgh fans. You got to come across the Appalachian Mountains to find me, so I'm fine.
He's not afraid.
I'm not afraid.
Yeah, Mikey's all
also,
tough
your
now.
sandwich, you just put French fries in it. What is that? I can put French fries in any sandwich. It's not a thing.
Oh, Mike is coming after Pittsburgh. He's had enough.
I've never had a Primanti Brothers sandwich. They say it's good, but isn't it just a sandwich with French fries? I guess they could say a cheesesteak is just meat and cheese.
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. Yeah, Don't they do gravy too, or am I confusing that with poutine?
Yeah, that might be poutine.
Yeah.
Oh, what about a poutine sandwich?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, now we're completely off topic.
Yeah.
That means we need to take a break.
Yeah, we're getting too hungry here. We're talking dinner ideas in the Sports Sampler, so that means we got to end this first part of the show and take a quick break. But don't go anywhere because we still got the entertainment entree and then the non-fortune cookie odd news coming your way when we come back from the break. This is the Crispy Noodle Podcast. We'll be right back.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, BookBaby,
Barnes & Noble,
and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com/books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
You just assured me that I could speak.
Sit down inside the car. We're not assuring anything. We're under arrest.
Look, I'm under what? Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis! This is the bloke who got me on the penis before.
Get some cups.
Why did you do this to me?
Hop in the car. Get some cups.
For what reason? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Oh, that's a nice headlock, sir. Oh, yes. I see that you know your judo well. Good one. And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis? Now, get your hands off there.
No, we've only got one cup.
Ta-ta and farewell.
So I guess get him in the car.
One cup, look. They even broke.
Oh, yeah, we're back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Just, you know what? I'm so glad we have Democracy Manifest. That made me happy again. Just seeing that clip again.
It is a great clip. It does warm the soul.
What's up? I'm under what?
I'm under what? I just like the part where he goes, "And you, sir, are you ready to receive my limp penis?" It's like so weird. It's so weird.
Yeah. Hey, look, when the cameras are on you, you gotta ham it up.
I guess so.
Yeah.
That's true.
So there you go. That again, we say this every week, but that clip is in the Hall of Fame here in the Crispy Noodle Podcast
It
headquarters.
truly
That is in
is.
the rafters here. You can't see it. It's above my hand.
Just out of the cameras.
Right,
angle.
right.
Yeah.
But it's up there. That is Hall of Fame. We fast tracked it right to the Hall of Fame when that clip came out. All right. Speaking of entertaining clips, I think that leaves us with the perfect way to get into the second part of our show with the entertainment entree.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music.
I know what that is. That's music.
Video games.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Celebrities.
You really know Warren Beatty? Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
And more.
You were the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world.
This is the entertainment entree.
All right, we are officially in entertainment entree now, and we're going to start off with the segment where Mike is going to let you know what you should keep an eye out for this upcoming weekend with new TV, movies, and video games with Mike's This Week in Entertainment. All right, Mikey, what should the people keep an eye out for this weekend?
All right, well, this week it's all about television. Of course, as we're getting further into fall, we get a lot of those fall releases of new TV shows. And a big one is resuming this week on ABC. Abbott Elementary comes back for season 4 on ABC, airing Wednesdays at 9:30. This show is consistently nominated for awards, and everyone in the Philly area should appreciate all the references and regional humor. I think it's a fantastic show. The early seasons have a great Jim-Pam dynamic going on with two of the characters. But this season especially promises a crossover with Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, that's
cool.
cool.
Yeah, so you got to be looking forward to that. Definitely go check out Abbott Elementary, especially if you're in the southeastern Pennsylvania region. You got to check it out. But if you're looking for something a little spooky for the Halloween season, check out the new horror drama Teacup on Peacock. And the reason I mention this is because it's so mysterious that Peacock hasn't shared any details about it. They just say that it follows a group of rural Georgians dealing with a mysterious threat. And that's it. They're being very tight-lipped about the secrets and the mysteries, so I'm kind of intrigued, and I wonder if there's any quality behind all the intrigue.
Is it Doki Doki Literature Club?
It could be. It could be. That seems like it's something that you do want to stay tight-lipped about, honestly, judging by the thumbnails. And finally, Disclaimer is a new psychological thriller limited series coming to Apple TV Plus from Alfonso Cuarón, who is the famous director from Roma and Gravity. It's about a TV journalist who discovers a new novel featuring her as the main character and reveals dark secrets from her past. So if you're looking for a little bit of psychological thriller, go check out Disclaimer. Those are all the TV shows we're looking forward to this week in entertainment.
All right, thank you for that segment, but we've got some video game news to deal with as well if you are a PlayStation fan.
Yeah, so a little bit of sad news for PlayStation fans. Sony recently announced that they will be delisting LittleBigPlanet 3 and all of its downloadable content at the end of the month. That's October 31st. You will no longer be available for purchase, either the game or its downloadable content. The servers were also shut down back in April of this year, so even the fan-created content that people had previously put up for people to enjoy is not available to play. It's just really sad, the continued decline and decay of this franchise. For people that don't know, LittleBigPlanet made a big name for itself back in the PlayStation 3 era. It had incredibly in-depth gameplay creation tools built into the game. You could create your own levels, you could create your own individual game components, and you could share them with other people, either the levels or the individual creations. It was so impressive. It was a 2.5D platformer, but people were creating first-person shooters, third-person action games, racing games. You could do so many incredible in-depth things with these creation tools. And also the collaborations the developer had with bringing costumes and content packs from other Sony properties and other big games like Assassin's Creed into that universe was just so incredibly cool to see that stuff. It was so big at one point that Sony made that tagline, play, create, share, a big part of its marketing push during the PlayStation 3 era. So it's just really sad that the PlayStation and PlayStation fans are losing such a unique, creative game and really a game creation platform.
So the servers shut down.
So the servers shut down, meaning you can still play the single-player component. You can play levels that you've created, but the main point of the game, they always advertised that it was had infinite replayability because everyone was constantly creating new levels, new content, remixing levels and content that other people that had created. So when they shut down that sharing and creation server, you could only play what you yourself had built or the single player game.
So I understand losing servers because that requires active maintenance. And I'm sure that costs money.
But why delist it?
But so yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
so I understand
because there is still a single player component.
Yeah. So I get not having the servers. That happens.
Right.
But then to make it just unavailable as a solo game on its own, that seems weird to me.
I think that after the server shut down, people started to I don't know if you would delist a game just from kind of negative backlash. That seems a bit drastic, right? So I don't know if that's the case. That's one theory. Another theory is that the game is just so old and so broken that they decided to delist it. But again, that doesn't make sense either. How many times have broken, bad games been up?
Who cares?
Another theory is that the amount of licensed content. So I mentioned all those collaborations with other Sony properties or other third-party studios. They're like, they don't want to keep paying the licensing fees, but like, then make the downloadable content unavailable. Why the game itself?
Yeah.
So it's very confusing why they're delisting it. A little bit of hopeful theory is that maybe they're getting ready for a big relaunch of LittleBigPlanet, remastering the games or reinventing the franchise and kind of reintroducing those creation aspects. What do you think?
No.
You don't think so?
No, because to me, I would want, if I was in charge of marketing, I would lead with that.
Right, instead of we're going to take it all away from you.
Correct.
And then like, surprise, we're bringing it back.
Yeah, that's not good marketing. No.
Yeah.
You would want to lead with something like that.
Like you have an announcement, like a little teaser, like, oh, something big coming to, or something little coming to a big planet, something
whatever
cheeky like that,
But that would be your major headline.
Right.
And then the bottom would be like, disclaimer, we're getting rid of the old version of the game.
Right. It does raise the question, though, like this brings up a good point. Why don't they do that? Like, don't you think that game creation games would be so big right now with the sharing functionality?
Everything is getting a remaster. Yeah, why not LittleBigPlanet?
Yeah, but also just the aspect of like people creating and sharing gameplay and game levels. Like, I feel like games completely gave up on that gimmick after a certain time. Remember at one point, Time Splitters had it, Mod Nation Racers, LittleBigPlanet.
Yeah, Mod Nation Racers was awesome. That was like create your own Mario Kart.
Yeah, and I guess like technically there are other games that I think like Roblox does it. I don't know anything about Roblox.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hear that kids really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I guess like Minecraft kind of does that too, but like for some reason it feels like there's a little bit of a lack of it, right?
Yeah.
Or am I misreading?
At least on consoles.
At least on consoles?
Yeah. I'm sure this is more active in the PC community.
Yeah, but then you get into like the territory of mods. And mods are like a completely different kind of beast. I'm talking about a game that lets you build mini games within its structure. Like it was, I don't know if you ever played LittleBigPlanet, but it was such an amazing, like unique aspect. You play through the game, and then you go on the create server, and there's people are like recreating first-person shooters, racers, like anything you can imagine, millions and millions of levels that people would contribute to. Somebody could do the art, somebody could do like the AI programming, and people would like upload individual creations that you could then pull into your levels and share and remix. It was just so cool. And you'd think with like the share functionality and crossplay and always online consoles, like you think that it would be ripe for something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I bet you
this is my humble plea for more of that.
I bet you there's a big community for this on PC.
Yeah.
This sounds like a PC avenue that they would take advantage of.
I mean, I'm still hoping that they decide to remaster and re-release, or do a new game in the franchise to kind of bring that back. And but
I doubt it, because I would lead with that.
Yeah, I know
this is horrible marketing if that's the case.
It really is. I feel like you don't ever want to lead with the bad news and just let it sit there.
Yeah.
Without counterpunching with something positive.
Yeah.
You're like, by the way, we're taking away this thing that you love. and then they just let it sit and linger for days.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
yeah, but sad development there.
Sad news with Little Big Planet. But the sad news of the controversy doesn't quite stop there because favorite topic on the show, of course, is the plight of Star Wars Acolyte.
Oh man, we're still going on about it.
2 months after it's been canceled, we're still talking about it. That's because the stars of the show can't stop talking about it. A lot of them feel like they've really been wronged here. And case in point right here, Jodie Turner-Smith, the actress who plays Anastasia, that's the twins' mother in the show, May and Osha, their mother, recently spoke out against Disney for not backing the show's stars when they face backlash. And she had some very choice words. Here's the quote, have got to stop doing this thing where they don't say anything when people are getting effing dogpiled on the internet with racism and BS. It would just be nice if the people that have all the money were showing their support and putting their feet down. End quote. It's pretty strong words, of course, referring to the fact that the main cast member, the lead actress, Amanda Stenberg, faced a bunch of criticism and vitriol online for her character. And, I mean, does she have a point? Do studios have an obligation to defend their actors? Is this, again, I hinted at it a few months ago, like, is this the reason why Disney just canned it? Because there's been worse shows that have been dragged on, but did they look at online and they're like, we're not going to defend her. People don't like her, so we're just going to can the whole project. Like, what do you make of this situation?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me because that causes less headaches around the office if you just wash your hands clean of it and be like, all right, we're not going to do that again.
Isn't that like the scummiest, worst thing to do?
Sounds like Disney.
and you kind of got a point there. They are.
Stop asking questions. Consume product.
Consume. Ha-ha. Yeah. Don't look away from the screen. Watch me.
Don't ask questions. Consume product.
Yeah. I mean, in my perfect world, studios would defend their stars. Like, that just seems logical, right? Like, you have an actual vested interest, like, money-wise, to defend the stars and try and convince people, no, they're, like, actually good. Come and watch this thing and give us money. Like, but I guess on the flip side, it is way easier to be like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, whoa, what backlash? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, we just canceled the show because, you know, only got a couple million viewers instead of a couple extra million viewers. Like, just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
But
also, just on a random notice on canceling TV shows, they really cancel these TV shows way too fast.
They do. They do.
I just saw there was Chaos or something.
Yeah. Yeah, the Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
He's like Zeus. And
I saw that like a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll give that a shot. I'll put it on my watch list.
I literally did the same thing.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, just already this week came out canceled. Like, whoa, did we even give this a shot?
So like, do you know what I'm not going to watch now?
Yeah, do I even give this a shot now?
Yeah.
Like, you're almost shooting yourself in the foot.
There is, for me, a hesitance to jump into shows because of that.
Yeah, because why get involved if it's already done?
Right. I like to see that a show has legs before I jump in, because how many times have you started watching a show? Something that comes to mind is Mindhunters on Netflix. I don't know if you ever got into that with the serial killers, the birth of the FBI and everything. Yep. Like, I thought it was a fantastic crime drama, very creepy, very psychological. Canned after 2 seasons, and I thought they did a fantastic job with it. The OA on Netflix as well, another good example. Personally, from my own TV shows that I watch, but yeah, I have kind of a hesitance to jump into kind of like shows that are in the middle. You know, it needs to either be like a really big success or something that I'm like super devoted or interested in. You know, like a Game of Thrones spinoff, something like that. If it's any kind of like middling show, I'm gonna wait. And that only hurts its chances, though, so it's kind of like a catch-22.
Yeah.
But, like...
And it's also just, like, how fast do these streaming services expect people to watch their shows?
Yeah. Like, listen, I feel like streaming has kind of broken how we look at content consumption, because you're absolutely right. Like, back in the day, I had to watch I'd wait every week to watch the next episode of Lost, right? Or what have you. Walking Dead, another example.
Yeah.
Now they're like, if you don't watch all 12 episodes in the first 36 hours,
it's a failure.
We're going to cancel your show, even though you really like it. Like, dude, I just don't have 12 hours in a row to watch your stupid show. Just give me a second, all right? It might take me a few weeks.
Don't ask questions, consume product.
Do you find it stressful consuming content like that sometimes?
Sometimes when...
Like, do you feel like you're going to miss out on the cultural... like discourse and
I felt that way with the last season of Stranger Things. It came out during the middle of the summer, and I think Rachel and I were going on vacation.
And you missed it, and you're like, well, crap.
So it was like, it was like we were down with her family. We couldn't just binge watch 10 episodes, especially when like 3 of them were 2 hours long.
Yeah, which knock that off Netflix, for real. But yes.
So it's like, it's almost like a hindrance at that point. It's like we can't consume all those episodes that fast and get up to speed with the storyline that everybody else knows.
I like the way that Agatha All Along and Disney Plus does their shows. I like coming in each week. I don't mind that. I don't need to watch. I don't have the time to binge watch things like I used to anymore. So, like, as I get older, I'm going back to the weekly release schedule. And, like, maybe there's a healthy balance, like what Netflix is trying to do with, like, the part 1, the part 2, the part 3A, the part 3B.
Oh, like Cobra Kai?
Like Cobra Kai, which I still haven't watched yet, but I will get there. Like, maybe, like, 2 or 3 episodes at like, every week instead of, like, 1 episode a week or, like, all the episodes in 1 week. Like, maybe a healthy balance. Why has nobody tried that? Like, 2 episodes a week for, like, a month.
Well, I mean, we'll see how Cobra Kai fares, because that's what they're doing with that show.
Yeah. But streaming has created a very complicated environment for TV shows, and I don't think it's going to get any easier anytime soon, especially with controversies like The Acolyte. Really disappointing to see the discourse around it, because I thought that it had potential. It was a barely average show. I think it missed a lot of the marks, but I still stand by and say it should have gotten a season 2 to see how it could have expanded on those ideas.
And to see Jason, I keep calling him Jason, but that's not his name.
God, what's his name?
Whatever. Jason, I want to see Darkseid.
Manny Jacinto.
Yeah. I want to see more of him. I want to see more
Jason.
of his.
Dark Jason.
Yeah. I want to see more of his character.
Yeah. So, anyway, The Acolyte. I feel like we'll be talking about it for months to come every time a Star Wars thing comes out. But that was the recent news there.
All right. Let's get into our third and final segment now of the Crispy Noodle podcast. Folks, it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene. But maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing!
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
Mandada bastata. I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts! That'll be $4, baby! You want fries with that?
I seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at Meat Tornado.
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders, go to the bathroom, because you're in for a hell of a ride.
Odd news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird and wacky story and keeps it hidden from me, which ensures that all of my reactions are my genuine gut reactions to hearing the story for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen. You guys don't know what's about to happen. And even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen, because these stories always take us down wacky and wild paths, and I'm ready to get started. Where are we heading? You seem far too excited. You're far too excited. Where are we heading? Oh, my God.
All right. We're going to Georgia in this story.
Okay. All right.
And this is a short story.
Okay.
Not a whole lot of information is known about this story, but
okay.
This combines just a few of our favorite things.
Okay. All right.
This is like odd news squared.
Oh, no. Okay.
Because we got a violent incident, and it's over something stupid.
Of course.
And it's about one of our favorite subjects.
Oh, no. I'm terrified.
We got to deal with the case of where are the sausages?
Where are the sausages? You said you'd bring me sausages. I don't see no sausages. I want sausages. Sausages are good.
Yeah, I came ready, Mike. Okay. I've got all the sausage clips ready.
All the sausages.
Yep.
Daddy, would you like some
Oh
sausage?
my God.
Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausage? Sausages, sausages.
Oh yeah.
No.
When I saw this story, I was like, I'm going to compile
all
sausages
the sausage clips
into one screen so I can handle this story.
The sausage screen.
Yes.
Where are the sausages?
Yep, because this is exactly that story. All right, are you ready to get into this?
I'm ready.
This happened. An argument over who stole Vienna sausages at a nursing home in Georgia
Oh, no.
ended up with someone being stabbed.
Where are the sausages? I want sausages. I want sausages.
That's actual audio.
That's actual audio. I
Yeah,
know. It
there you go.
sounds like an elderly person.
I need more sausages.
Yep, that's actual audio. No.
Oh man! So they wanted sausages so bad that it resorted to stabbing.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Somebody stole.
We
Vienna.
we like to think that we're big sausage fans. We give sausage shout outs to our fans. But wow, this is a whole new level.
I think we've been one-upped, especially since but hold on though. Do Vienna sausages count as sausages? They're like the little canned sausages, right? Little like cocktail weenie sausages.
Look, it's so important that it led to a stabbing.
I guess so.
You bust them here, guns in hand, and now you find they've turned to fucking sausages.
I was waiting to play this. I was getting the clips from Kids in the Hall, and then I was watching Succession in the background, and I totally forgot about that clip. I was like, I gotta save that one.
You bust them here, guns in hand, and now you find they've turned to fucking sausages.
Oh man!
I love
so
this.
you got Succession on the soundboard.
Yeah, there you go. I got
There you go.
Succession.
That's pretty impressive. And sausages is what did it.
Yep.
That doesn't make any sense, but there you go.
Yes.
I don't even know what to say. So
all the sausage clips.
all the sausages. But there were no sausages at this. This is an old folks' home? What's happening here?
This was a nursing home.
Nursing home
in
okay.
Tybee Island.
Tybee Island?
Tybee Island, Georgia. Go look that one up.
You're Abe Froman. That's right. I'm Abe Froman, the sausage king of Chicago. Yeah, that's me.
That's awesome. I found it, Tybee Island.
Yep, you found it?
Yeah, it doesn't look like an island. It looks like a peninsula.
Oh, false advertising.
But whatever. I'll accept it, I guess.
All right. Other than that, though, the story's pretty self-explanatory. Cops say that one man accused another man of stealing his can of Vienna sausages.
Where are the sausages?
And during the argument, it got intense, and a man pulled out a knife and stabbed the other man.
I want sausages! I want sausages!
Yep.
I shouldn't laugh, but it's funny though. I'm sorry, it's funny. Like I know somebody got stabbed, but that is just the most absurd reason.
Yeah.
To stab somebody is over Vienna sausages.
Yeah. How much are they? Like $1?
I just looked them up. They're literally like $1, and you can buy them on Amazon.
Dear God, somebody just run to the store and just get these guys just a case of Vienna sausages, please.
But also, they don't look good. Have you seen pictures?
Yeah,
They're
they don't.
Little cans. I mean, I don't know. I can't judge. I've actually never had them. but they look not very tasty.
Yeah, you got to do something to spice them up or something.
Well, they do have hot and spicy version.
All right, that's a little bit slightly better.
Oh, at Sam's Club, you can get 18 cans of them for $12.62.
I like sausages.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, they're not hard to come by, and they're not expensive. Just go buy another can. Like, I know it's an inconvenience, but...
We're almost out of sausages.
You didn't think... I'm literally dead
have
serious.
So many sausage clips.
Yeah. Due to the fact that these are elderly patients, their names were not released. So I cannot give you any more information on who it was or if they had wacky names or anything like that.
Okay.
The police report does say that the injured resident was taken to the hospital and he is recovering fine. Though
Who
they
gave the other guy a knife?
Yeah, right?
Are they allow their old people to just walk around with knives in Georgia?
Yeah, right?
This is a nursing home. What's happening?
I'm gonna f***ing kill you, motherfucker, old style.
That's old style.
That is
With a
old
knife.
style. That's a knife, yeah. It's a nursing home. Where the heck did he get a knife capable of stabbing a person with?
Yeah, I must have kept it hidden.
Maybe.
Unfortunately, though, for that person, he was arrested and he will be charged with aggravated assault and possession of a knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Well, yeah. That's what happened.
Possession of a knife during the commission of a crime. Wow, that's a long charge. That whole thing is a charge.
So if he just didn't have the knife during the crime, that would have been one less charge.
I guess. I don't know. That seems a little bizarre.
Do they
to me.
charge everybody who commits a crime and
in Georgia
has a knife? I guess they have to tack that one on.
Yeah. If you have it on your person.
That's kind of dumb, right?
Yeah, possession of a knife during the commission of a crime.
Because it's like a slippery slope, like possession of shoes while in the commission of a crime, possession of, just everything. I don't know.
Possession of drugs. Yeah.
Well, that's already a crime.
That's already a crime. Whoops. Possession of sausages. I don't know.
Possession of sausages.
I don't know what else to tell you.
They're outlawed.
Where are the sausages?
Yeah. Yep, that is a true story out of Georgia.
Stab somebody over a can of sausages. A 98-cent can of sausages.
Vienna sausages. Yep.
Now I want to try them, though.
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausage? Sausages, sausages.
Yep, there you go.
Have you ever had Vienna sausages?
No, I don't think so.
Like the little can of the little...
Because they do seem pretty just plain.
They look so bland.
Yeah.
Like the picture on the can, like they couldn't have found a more enticing picture. Like it literally looks like an uncooked hot dog.
Yeah. They need to find some sausage. That's what they need.
Exactly, right?
Hey, happy birthday to you. Got sausage for you.
I should have known you were just setting yourself up for a clip. This is what we've devolved to. He just sits there. He just says the most random stuff so he can set himself up for a clip. This is madness.
Yes, it is. But I love this story.
You're like, I guess you could say he was very successful in stabbing him. Maybe it was a succession.
You bust him here, guns in hand, and now you find they've turned to fucking sausages.
It is unhealthy how many sausage clips I have.
That is, how many do you have?
I'm up to 13.
That's too many sausage clips.
Sausages! I like sausages!
Is that your largest category of clips?
I think so.
Oh my god. Why?
I need more sausages! I want sausages! Sausages are good!
So...
Sausages are good.
Yes.
That is a factual statement.
Yes. But I don't know if it's worth stabbing somebody over.
No. The can is 98 cents. Go buy a new one.
Yeah.
How did you get the can? How did you get the knife? Just go back to where you got these things and get another one.
Yeah. All right. Do I got time to fit one more? I think I do. I think I can fit one more.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Fit
leave.
it in there like a Vienna sausage.
Yeah, right.
Where are the sausages?
All right. Instead, now we're going to go international. We're going to go to Germany in this story.
Germany, yeah?
Yep.
Guten Tag.
And if you have the video feed, I think this will help you out more. Unfortunately, sorry if you're listening to this audio only. But that is because in Germany, cops are on the hunt for a special highway driver who was speeding, going more than 70 miles per hour in a 50 mile per hour zone. But the catch, this driver was wearing a complete Cookie Monster outfit. And there we go. We've got the video on the image on the video feed. He's driving an Audi. Wow.
I mean, it is Germany.
That Cookie Monster's got some class. getting the Audi in there.
That's awesome.
I love the fact it caught it perfectly.
It did.
Like I know it's black and white, but you can clearly make out the googly eyes.
Yeah.
That is definitely a Cookie Monster outfit.
So they want this speeder for speeding, right? Not the fact that they're wearing the costume or both.
Both.
Are you not allowed to wear a costume?
So it's speeding,
right?
But then it's also an obstruction to your ability to drive. You can't have a mask on.
It seemed like he was driving just fine.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
I guess Germany doesn't see it that way.
Yeah,
no fun zone in Germany. They're so straight laced.
Yeah, you really like that mask on.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, yeah, the Germans are here to put a damper on your parade.
Boo.
Police spokesperson Peter Bonderman said that even though this seems fun, unfortunately, this can quickly turn serious because the mask can hinder your driving abilities.
I mean, to be fair, that is true. I can barely drive if, like, the temperature isn't correct.
Whoa.
You know?
Are you sure you're all right over there?
Yeah, it's distracting.
And here's something else too. Even though, the problem is they need to find the driver. People were saying, can't they just trace the car?
Oh yeah.
But according to the German authorities, they said that the owner actually has the right to refuse evidence onto who's driving the car. Unless if it's a matter of national security. And guess what? I guess Cookie Monster doesn't qualify for national security.
I guess not. So you're saying they can track the car, but they don't know if it was actually the owner of the car, and the owner doesn't have to be like, yeah, it was
Correct.
me, or yes, it was my son, or, Bobbity Bob or whoever.
Correct. The owner doesn't, there's not a legal obligation for the owner to give up who is driving the car.
So hypothetically, could you commit any crime with a car as long as you have a mask on?
Ooh. In Germany.
In Germany. Think of it. Think of it for a second. You put your mask on, you drive this car, GTA style, down the sidewalk. You're knocking old ladies left and right. Just mowing them down.
Uh-huh.
Just straight through the school zone, 50 miles an hour, all the kids. But you're wearing a mask. They don't know. How do they know?
And then you pull over to the grocery store and you steal sausages.
You bust in here, guns in hand. And now you find they've turned to fucking sausages.
Yep.
Yes, I guess that's all allowed.
But they're wearing a mask.
They're wearing a mask.
Now wait, if they get out of the car, does that mean that they can force the person to reveal themselves?
Only if somebody actually can physically remove the mask.
That's so weird. It's so weird that they can't force the person to,
unless it's a matter of national security. That's the caveat.
That's wild.
And Cookie Monster does not fall into national security threats.
They should. They should.
Damn Cookie Monster.
Damn Cookie Monster.
He's a menace to society with his Audi.
He's eating all the cookies. He's getting crumbs in the Audi.
Yeah, this supposed to be a nice, fine, luxury vehicle.
I feel like Audis are like Toyotas in Germany. Like, aren't they everywhere? That's it's like the car.
No, Volkswagen is
Volkswagen?
Yeah.
Oh, the People's Wagon.
Yeah. The People's Wagon.
That's what it means, isn't it? The People's Wagon?
I don't know why. It sounds like a sexual innuendo.
What?
Right?
Why is that?
Hey, baby, I got the People's Wagon right here.
Why is that?
Am I the only one?
Okay, actually, it means the People's Car, but I like People's Wagon better.
Ooh, what's happening over there in the People's Wagon?
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
How, though? How is People's Wagon?
Like a shaggin' wagon? Like what's happening in there?
It's the People's Shaggin' Wagon.
Yeah.
This is the Volkswagen Wagon.
Volkswagen Wagon.
It's the Volkswagen.
That doesn't even sound. That sounds so violent. Even
everything in German sounds violent.
Yeah. Whoops.
The Volkswagen.
Yeah. So if you happen to know anybody that lives in Germany, or if you live in Germany somehow and you came across this podcast, be on the lookout for the Cookie Monster driver. He's out there with his Audi. He's
causing chaos, committing victimless crimes.
Yeah. And apparently he cannot be stopped.
Damn Cookie Monster can't be stopped.
Oh, me like speeding. Me like Audi. I was fan of S8, not A8.
That's very specific for the Cookie Monster.
I like Iron Man car.
Yeah.
I like R8. Whee!
Cookie Monster only drives Audis.
Yeah.
He's very particular.
He's very particular. And there you go, folks. That's what I have for you.
Sausages and cookies.
Sausages and cookies. It came back to food.
Hey, man.
Everything came back to food.
That's a good meal right there.
Because
you got your crispy noodles, you got your sausages, and you got your cookies. That is a full 3-course meal.
Yeah. Oh, but also you were talking about what?
Primanti Brothers.
Primanti Brothers.
Yeah.
So it was actually a 4-course meal.
Wow. That is a full chef's tasting menu. Everybody who's listening now owes us like $200 for the fancy tasting menu.
Yeah, we give you some exquisite food items.
Absolutely.
Here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. So the meal is coming to an end. It's time for everyone to settle up and head out. Thank you guys for supporting us. Thank you for supporting our little show. If you like what you heard, make sure you go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you follow us on all the social media, hubbabaloo. But most importantly, make sure you have a way to get the podcast sent to you every week. 2 main ways to do that. First one is on YouTube. We publish the video podcast up on YouTube, so hit that subscribe button and you'll get the video podcast sent to your YouTube account every week. Second main way to do it is we put the video podcast up on Spotify, so you can follow us there, but also you can put Spotify on in the background and listen to us as an audio-only podcast. And using Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, you can take us on the go with you in your vehicle. If you're Cookie Monster driving the Audi, you can take us on the go with you and enjoy our show while you're speeding and causing chaos in Germany.
That's true.
So make sure you do that with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and you're good to go, Mr. Cookie Monster.
Yeah, because you need the hands-free nature of it in order to speed with the mask on.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Yep.
So many ways to check out the Crispy Noodle Podcast, but if you need to get in touch with us individually, you can find us on X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I am at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Find us on X. Let us know what's happening. And if you've got any more sausage clips, why not? I'm loading up a whole page full of sausage clips at this rate. So let me know if there's any other sausage clips I'm missing. And if there's any other things you want us to talk about on future episodes of the Crispy Noodle Podcast, we'll give you the sausage shout out. But for right now, we got to wrap it up. This has been the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vigilance out of life and boring news. That'll do it. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Later. Bye-bye, all you fine peoples. Good night.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.
I like sausages!